So hello and welcome back to another video, guys. Now, as you can tell, this is pretty different. Today, I am joined by Mr. Blu View.
Hi, everyone.
I'm going to have a link in the description to his channel. So first off, Blu View, thank you for being here.
Pleasure.
This is really cool. We're doing a double part video, everyone. So make sure you click that link because we're doing our top 10 Star Wars heroes here on my channel. And then on his channel, we're going to have top 10 Star Wars villains. So there's a little double part video there. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Perfect.
And we're just going to be counting down our top 10. I guess we're just going to go. I'll let you go first as it's my channel. We'll do your number 10, my number 10, 9, 9,
that's
8, 8.
Perfect. Yeah.
Lovely.
So should I start?
Yeah, go for it.
My number 10 is Kanan from Rebels. Now, I know a lot of people don't love Rebels. And going into it, I probably watched it about a year ago now. I wasn't sure whether I was going to love it, but I actually really do love Rebels. I think it's a really fun show. And I thought Kanan was a really interesting character because he's one of the only characters that we know survived the Order 66. And I thought that was really interesting. And the scenes I love were when he first came across Rex. And I just thought it was really cool to see like, a well-renowned Jedi encounter a clone, because that was something I really wanted to see. And it was really amazing. Obviously, he had loads of flashbacks. And I love his character. I love how he trained Ezra. And I know Ezra has flaws, but I really enjoy his character. I think he's wise. He reminds me a tiny bit of Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah.
I think the show just uses him really well. And he's a really cool character, I think.
I really like what they done with him, actually making him blind. I thought that was really cool idea.
I thought that was really great and just showed his strength and how he didn't give up. And he was really the ideal Jedi.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed this character. I really hope maybe one day we can see him in live action, maybe in The Mandalorian or one of the other spin-off shows. But I think that'd be really cool.
I think we will. I think now that we're seeing all these animated characters transition over, I think we'll see it eventually.
I think we'll see Ezra first. But then I think we will see Kanan. That will be great. But I don't really get the hate for Rebels. I think some episodes are a bit kid friendly, but overall I think it's much better than getting nothing. I mean, I think it's really, really solid.
Yeah, I think each season of Rebels just gets better. I think it's a great show.
I mean, you've got the arc with Ahsoka and Darth Vader and Maul. I mean, that was incredible, absolutely incredible. Yeah.
Well, nice. My number 10 is going to surprise people because this isn't like a mainstream character, but I've picked Plo Koon.
Fair enough.
I think is going to surprise a lot of people. I love this character. I don't know what it is about him. He's like, because I love the prequels and stuff, and I love like anything to do with the Jedi Council. It really interests me, and I think with the Council, Windu and Ki-Adi-Mundi just get on my nerves because they're just so they got their noses up in the air too much. And Yoda's
I agree.
Yoda's so easily influenced by those two, whereas Plo's kind of like the really calm, level-headed one.
Yeah,
and he's so overpowered, which the shows don't show that much. I love his voice, and I just think he's a really cool character. And every time he pops up in the Clone Wars, he steals all the attention for me. I'm like, I'm just watching this guy. He's just one of those guys. I don't think he has the best character development. Don't get me wrong, because he hasn't had loads of screen time. But he's just one of those characters which I just love because I think he's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, you see him for about, I'd say 10 seconds in the prequels, and he was always just one of my favorite characters just because of how he looked.
Yeah.
And I always actually thought, as a kid watching Clone Wars, he actually sounded quite scary. I don't know why that was, but he's awesome. He's
also
awesome.
Dave Filoni's favorite Jedi. So even Dave Filoni, I think that's why he got used a lot in the Clone Wars, because Dave Filoni likes him a lot.
No, and I think he's
and he's voiced by the guy who voices Obi-Wan, so pretty cool.
Yeah, he's great. He's really cool. Cool.
That's my number 10.
So number 9, this guy is amazing. I've actually gone for the Mandalorian from the Mandalorian series. I think after season 1, he would not have been anywhere near the list. But after season 2 and after his character really being developed a lot, I adore this character. I think the connection he made with Grogu, Baby Yoda, the child, whatever you want to call him, I thought it was spectacular. And I think when you maybe watch the sequels, you say there's no character development with Rey, Poe, Finn. But this is how character development should be done. He just, every episode, he developed. And he is so badass. I mean, his armor alone looks incredible. And the Beskar and all the fights he has, I just think whenever he's on the screen, I'm drawn to him. Just excellent character. Really enjoy him, and I can't wait to see more of him in season 3 and maybe in other series he may pop into those too. But yeah, amazing character.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've always said I find it interesting that I connected more and I understand a baby and a guy who doesn't show his face more than all of the 3 main characters from the sequels.
It's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, even from his just Pedro Pascal's movements, somehow you can understand all these different emotions. And then you look at Finn in the sequels, and all he's doing is just screaming the whole time. And it's just like, this is what we want. We don't want silly jokes everywhere. We just want serious Star Wars. We don't. Yeah, it was amazing.
No, I agree, definitely. Well, that's a good pick. My number 9 is pretty beloved character. I've gone for one of our main original characters, and I know that some people might be a bit like, really, because he doesn't really say anything. But I've gone with Chewie as my number 9. I mean, every time Chewie's on screen, I'm just kind of in awe of this character. I mean, I think he's a great character because he has no dialogue really. I know that of course they make it all up around him, but and the fact that you feel so attached to this character and you get the cockiness of him and how he plays off Han, I think is really, really good. And hey, he's been in loads of films now. He's appeared in the prequels, the sequels. The guy's popping up everywhere.
He was even in the Clone Wars briefly, wasn't he?
He was in the Ahsoka one where she got captured.
Yeah.
I don't think he was in Rebels. I don't think he's popped up in Rebels.
I know there were Wookiees in Rebels, but
I don't think he was.
He may
there.
have been in it, but I don't remember.
No,
I'm sure maybe there'd be a little Easter egg in the background somewhere. I'm not really too sure, but
and then of course the Solo movie, which he was really good in, even though they kept teasing he was going to die.
Yeah, but I think one thing they did really, really well was how Han and Chewie came together. I thought that was perfect. I absolutely loved that. And in the cinema, I was smiling for that whole scene because it was so cool.
I think the reason the original films work so much better than the prequels and the sequels is because of your core group of characters. And while everyone just talks about Han, Leia, and Luke, or they're the key ones, Chewie is just as much a key part in that little group, I think. And I love Chewie. I love him. He's the big, adorable teddy bear that everyone loves. So I've got to put Chewie on my list.
He's great. He's really good. So should I go on to my number 8? For my number 8, I've picked one of the main characters from the originals, and that is Leia, Princess Leia, General Leia, whatever you want to call her. I think this character is so interesting because, of course, when The New Hope came out, there weren't many movies with really strong female leads. And I think George Lucas really took the initiative on this. But what I loved about her was she didn't, like Rey. Rey, of course, was just a Mary Sue. She was so overpowered. But Leia did stuff that maybe we weren't fans of and did stuff that obviously we loved. And she was a very balanced character. She wasn't just screaming, I'm a woman, I should be at the forefront of this movie. She was a balanced character, but it was just great to see a movie come out 40 years ago, whatever, now. With a strong female and just such a great character, so many great lines. Of course, Carrie Fisher was incredible. Rest in peace to her too. But yeah, amazing actress and what a character. And of course, she was really good in this. I actually really enjoyed her character in the sequels too. Despite her weird send-off in Rise of Skywalker, of course, I feel for J.J. Abrams there because, she died before they could really film her scenes properly. But yeah, love that character. And yeah, she's just awesome. I as a kid, I absolutely loved her in the original trilogy. She was just such an awesome, strong character.
Well, I'll just say my number 8. My number 8 is also Princess Leia.
Oh, nice.
And I can't really disagree with anything you said. I think it's interesting because back when the first film came out, it was rare that you'd get a female character like this. So I think that's why she works really well. And I like the fact that her character's got in a lot of different directions. She starts off as a princess, then she becomes a general, not an admiral, sorry, like a senator. I mean, I know you have to look into more extended stuff there to see that, but she kind of covers loads of different areas. So there's loads of different sides to Leia. And yeah, she's a really cool character. And I as much as I hate Rise of Skywalker, I have similar feelings to you with how they sent her off. With the actress obviously not being there, it's a hard thing to do. So I kind of give them a pass on that one. Yeah,
same. So do I. I think what they did was the best of what they could fathom, really.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, shall I go on to my number 7?
Yes.
My number 7 is probably my favorite character growing up as a kid, and that is Qui-Gon.
That's my number 7 as well.
I remember as a kid watching The Phantom Menace for the first time. I mean, as a kid, I love the prequels, and they still have a special place in my heart. But Qui-Gon Jinn was that one character that I just absolutely loved. I mean, as a kid, I also loved Liam Neeson because I'd watched some of his other movies and some of his terrible action films. I was really a big fan of those as a kid. And just his voice as Qui-Gon Jinn, he just breathes wisdom. He breathes like a true Jedi. And I think something I love about him is he's, of course, not a real part of the Jedi Council. He doesn't uphold all the Jedi beliefs. He's actually a person himself, if that makes any sense. He makes decisions by himself, rather just like Mace Windu. I mean, I do enjoy Mace Windu's character, but he really only makes decisions that would agree with the Jedi Code. But Qui-Gon Jinn knew Anakin was the chosen one. And while the Council just tried really abandon Anakin, Qui-Gon Jinn knew that you had to train Anakin. And of course, in the end, it was the right decision. And if he didn't do that, the Empire would still be reigning in the current Star Wars day. But yeah, amazing character, so wise. Liam Neeson played him amazingly. And I also really loved his little cameos in Clone Wars as well. Of course, Liam Neeson doing his voice for that too. And I just wish we could see more of him. But I actually watched an interview a few weeks ago with Liam Neeson basically saying, I don't really know why I've not done more. Because with all the new old characters coming back, I think Qui-Gon Jinn, if he came back, it would take the Star Wars community by storm. Because I literally don't know one person who does not like this character.
No, Qui-Gon's kind of the dark horse of the prequel films because people forget about him a bit because he's only in the first one and he obviously isn't around during the Clone Wars. But I agree. I think the thing with the Jedi Council is that they're so brainwashed and they're so washed up in their ways. And because Qui-Gon isn't on the council, in fact, he actually declines to be a part of the council. It's interesting because he kind of goes against them a lot. And it's like you say, he thinks for himself. And he's just a really, really good character. And I've watched loads of interviews now with Dave Filoni and stuff where they said if he had survived Phantom Menace, Anakin probably would have never gone to the dark side because he's the father that Anakin needed. And Obi-Wan wasn't
Obi-Wan
that.
being a brother. Yeah, he was a brother, Obi-Wan. Yeah.
So, and, again, Liam Neeson played the hell out of it. So good. He's probably the best part about Phantom Menace, Qui-Gon.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Other than the music. But I agree. My number 7 is also Qui-Gon. So there we go.
Okay, perfect. All right. So my number 6 is Yoda. I think you're probably right in when you earlier said that he kind of listens to the other Jedi rather than makes views for himself. But I've gone with Yoda more for nostalgia reasons because I remember, again, as a kid, watching the prequels, watching him fight Darth Sidious, watching him fight Count Dooku, watching him in the originals, this really strange character. And of course, he's been everywhere. Of course, using Clone Wars and really briefly in Rebels. Even if he was horrifying to look at in Rebels, he was still in it. But yeah, he's a great character. I just love everything about him. He's wise. I love how he looks too. I love his fighting technique. He's just breathes wisdom. He's just so cool. And again, it's more nostalgia rather than him being maybe necessarily a better character than, for example, Qui-Gon Jinn. But yeah, amazing character. And he's just one of those staples of Star Wars that if you look at him, even if you're not a Star Wars fan, you're going to know that is Yoda.
Yeah. No, I can't disagree with any of that, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'll be talking about Yoda in a bit. But my number 6 actually isn't Yoda. We're actually different on this one. I put Han Solo in as my number 6.
One thing I've just disclaimed this, I've not got Han Solo in my list, so I'm sorry about that for anyone.
To be fair, I think a lot of people would expect Han to be in the top 3, but like for me and you who go beyond the movies, I think that there's some more interesting characters out there now, characters that have been expanded upon. Han defines the definition of cool with Star Wars. I think he's the really cool character. I love his attitude. I feel like sometimes if I could relate to anyone in Star Wars, it'd be Han. Because if I was seeing some of the shit he sees, like people moving things with their hands, you would be a bit like, what?
Is this even real? Like,
because he's just a smuggler. He's just like a normal type bloke who's just put in these situations. And it's really interesting to see his character develop from now Solo all the way through to The Force Awakens. And again, he's one of the best bits about The Force Awakens. I won't say he's one of the best bits about the original trilogy because I think, as I said earlier with Chewie, it's just that core group like Chewie, Leia, Luke, Han. They all work together so well in the originals. They make up the best bit together. He's just a really good character. It's interesting to see where he starts and where he finished, how much he's changed. And Harrison Ford. plays the hell out of him. And I forget the name of the actor who played him young, but he also done a great job in Solo, because I know people want to give him flack. I don't get it. He done a great job.
Yeah. Oh, I thought, what was it, Alden Ehrenreich or something? I can't remember how to pronounce his name, but I thought he was really good. I mean, you're not going to be as good as the original, but I thought he did actually a really good job. And I personally actually really enjoy Solo, while a lot of people don't really enjoy it.
No, I think it's a good movie. Yeah. So
so do I. When I watched it, I was surprised. I mean, I was smiling for the whole thing. It was really good fun. Really good fun.
No, definitely. Yeah. But Han's my number 6. So
my number 5. So so my number 5 is a character that I when I first saw her, she was probably the most annoying character ever. But she has quickly arose to be one of my favorite Star Wars characters ever, and that is the one, the only Ahsoka Tano. I mean, she is just. I mean, she's just such a good character, and I mean, we've seen her now in Clone Wars, in Rebels, and now, of course, first live action in The Mandalorian. And she looks stunning in that, by the way. Dawson did an amazing job. But yeah, she just was incredible. And I mean, first of all, Clone Wars, she starts in season 1 in the movie, being this really arrogant little Jedi who, for some reason, isn't listening to her master, of course, Anakin, who is the most powerful Jedi. And she seems to just frustratingly get everything right over Anakin. That made no sense, of course, because she was a Padawan, she was young. But I think Dave Filoni and not Jon Favreau, sorry, just Dave Filoni really redeemed her character. You know, she grew up to be a really respectable character. And again, like Princess Leia, she was a female character done right, rather than just being a Mary Sue. She had flaws. She had things about her I didn't like. And what the Clone Wars did with her in season 5, and then in the last 4 episodes of season 7, just speechless when I was watching that. And then, of course, in The Mandalorian, and we get a bit more expansion there. And in Rebels too, I think it was the end of season 2 with the stuff with her, Darth Vader, Ezra, Kanan, and Maul. I think her confrontation with Darth Vader or Anakin, she kind of saw both worlds there. Well, it was just amazing. And I think she's probably, in my opinion, the best developed character in all of Star Wars, period. And I definitely need to read some of the books about her, because I've not read any of them. And I think if I did, it would just expand upon my love for her.
To be fair, there's only the one book on her, but it's
I've not read that.
It's quite a good read, to be fair.
The cover for that. Have you read that?
I've read it. Yeah, it's quite good.
I will be reading that.
It does go against a couple things of the Clone Wars finale, but it's still really good.
Okay.
But I will be talking about Ahsoka again in a bit as well. But my number 5 is Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Who, I think for many people is just the main hero of this franchise.
Yeah.
And he is really. I kind of look at him and Anakin sort of the same. They kind of equally play very important parts. But yeah, Luke, weirdly, same as Ahsoka, he starts off really whiny in his first appearance in A New Hope.
I agree.
And in Empire, he's grown up a bit. He's still a bit too cocky. And then Return of the Jedi, that's the Luke I love, which is why I loved what we just witnessed, of course, in The Mandalorian. This is the Luke which we all love. And I don't hate what they've done with him in The Last Jedi. I would have preferred it gone in a different direction.
I'll talk more about that,
But it was written well enough where I was like, no. It makes sense why he's cut himself off. It's not what I would have done with the character, but it makes sense. They've written it where it makes sense. So it's like, okay, I guess I get it. But I would have obviously preferred him to have been the epic Jedi Grandmaster that we wanted. But at the end of the day, Luke's a fantastic character. Mark Hamill as well, great job playing him. So Luke's my number 5.
Yeah. So my number 4 is Luke. I think one thing I disagree with you on is how he was handled in the sequels. Now, I actually thought, there were bits in The Last Jedi where I was a bit like, is this really the Luke we all know and love? But I think what it did, I really respected. It didn't just play to what the fans wanted, and I really respected that. Because I think what the Rise of Skywalker did so wrong is everything it did, it's what the fans wanted. So it was so expected, everything was so predictable. Hence, I didn't really there were no surprises in it. But in The Last Jedi, his character was handled differently to what I expected, and I actually really enjoyed watching that. For example, when he was milking cows or whatever those things were, you don't expect someone who's essentially saved the whole galaxy to be on this planet on his own, living with these weird creatures with porgs and all these other things, isolating himself from the Jedi Order. And then, you know, how they handle his death, I thought it was just perfect. His duel with, not duel with Kylo Ren, but his Force Ghost dueling. Kylo Ren, I thought was spectacular. I thought his redemption was really good and amazing that he could have another redemption arc in the sequels. But yeah, I honestly really enjoyed what the Last Jedi did with him. And I can see why people would hate it, but I think for me personally, it did work. But of course, I don't have the nostalgia with Luke that a lot of people do. A lot of people who grew up with the originals. Of course, I grew up with the prequels, so I don't have that connection to him that a lot of people do. So that's why I do understand why people maybe wouldn't like how he was handled in the sequels.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I can't really disagree with any of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, well, my number 4 is going to be one which you've already spoken about. It's Yoda. Who, you know, again, Yoda, there's a lot of different versions of him out there now as well. You've got kind of wise Yoda in the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
And then Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Clone Wars, you've got Yoda that's just, he just sort of sits there and just nods to everything Window and Ki-Adi-Mundi says.
I agree.
He's given up. The war's stressed him out. He's given up. Yeah. And then we've got crackhead Yoda in Empire, which, you know,
I can't disagree with that. I can't disagree.
I love crackhead Yoda. He's my favorite one. He cracks me up. But yeah, you gotta love Yoda.
You do. Yeah.
Number one, the design of him is so cool. Frank Oz does a great job with, and the guy who voiced him in Clone Wars does a great job.
Amazing job. Yeah.
And the puppetry work on him in Empire is, you know, unbelievable. It's great.
Yeah.
And he's such a cool character. You know, he's this ultimate Jedi. He's like, I'd probably say he's the strongest Jedi we know of. If you're not going to go into legends and stuff, he's just the OP Jedi. He's the Grand Master. He's the top one.
Yeah.
And you know, I love Yoda. Just got to love Yoda.
Yeah.
So
what did you think? What did you think of what they did with him briefly in The Last Jedi? You know, when he burned the.
Oh, I really like that. I thought that was a really good scene. In fact, I'd be tempted to say it's my favourite scene from The Last Jedi. There's a couple of scenes in The Last Jedi which, there's that and the bit where they do the light speed through the Snoke ship, which I really like. There's a couple bits in The Last Jedi which I thought. I
mean, every single shot in that film was beautiful. Even if you hate the movie, you can't deny it.
The cinematography is out of this world on that movie. But the Yoda scenes in that were fantastic. They really were.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So my number 3 is by Hayden Christensen, Jake Lloyd. The one I can't say it for some reason. Why is that?
What?
The Anakin. It's Anakin. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't say that. Sorry. But yeah. I don't know why. It wasn't coming out of my mouth. But yeah, amazing character. I think what they did with him in Clone Wars, in the prequels, and then of course him morphing as Darth Vader was amazing. But yeah, incredible character. I mean, I personally enjoyed Hayden Christensen's go at playing him. Of course, in Attack of the Clones, I'm not going to lie, there are some terrible scenes. But overall, I love his character and can't wait to see Hayden Christensen playing him once again in the new Obi-Wan series. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, amazing character. Just Clone Wars, he was always one of my favorite characters growing up as a kid. And yeah, I think definitely has some of the best character development. Probably not as good as Ahsoka's, but still really, really, really good.
Well, Anakin's my number 3 as well, so I guess I'll talk about him here as well. Honestly, I don't think he'd be my number 3 if it weren't for the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that show developed him so well. Yeah. And by the end, like the start of the Clone Wars, you could see he's a good guy, and by the end, you can see he's like, you can see why this guy turned. Like things keep getting to him.
Definitely.
The Jedi, no one helped him. No one.
No, yeah, it's so frustrating to watch. I'm always like, whenever I watch, like, why does no one give a crap about Anakin? It's so frustrating. And I mean, I think in the prequels, everyone was a bit like he kind of turned out of nowhere, but as you said, the Clone Wars really fleshed it out for me. And I think also in Rebels there was that small bit of him confronting Ahsoka, saying, "Why did you leave?" And I think of course Ahsoka plays a big part in him turning too. Yeah, definitely, I agree.
No, I completely agree. I think Anakin gets a bit of a bad rap because of the shoddy dialogue from the prequels. And while I love Hayden Christensen, I do think he does a great job, especially in Revenge of the Sith. There is some cringy moments with him, and I think that's why the character gets a bad rap. And the character's really good. He's probably one of the best, if not the best character in Star Wars. So yeah, I definitely agree. Definitely.
Should I go on to my number 2?
Yes, go for it.
I'm gonna get so much hate for this because he's not even a big character, He's from the Clone Wars. And I remember growing up as a kid, this guy was always my favorite Star Wars character. And he's a clone, and he goes by the name of Rex. Now,
I had a feeling you were going to say Rex.
I'm really sorry, everyone. I know Luke, Anakin, Ahsoka are all better developed characters than Rex. But as a kid, Rex was always like the perfect character for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I love that the show didn't just show him as a clone. They didn't just show him as this robot who accepted everything everyone told him to do, of course, since he's a clone. But he actually had a mind of his own. And I think as the show goes on, the stuff in season 6 with him and the Fives, and in season 7, and just how his character progresses, and how, he starts talking about how he has mixed feelings even about the war, even though he was literally bred to fight in it. And then I love that he's also fleshed out in Rebels. And I think we probably will see a live action version of Rex. If we don't, I'd be extremely surprised, because he is definitely a fan favorite.
Well, technically, we saw him in Return of the Jedi, didn't we?
I was reading about that last week. Is that actually confirmed by Dave Filoni?
I think Dave Filoni did confirm it. He did.
But it's an old man with a white beard. I want to think it's Rex, but I'm sure George Lucas, when he was making that.
Oh no! Rex wasn't even a thing in his head.
No,
when he was making Return.
I think maybe Dave Filoni was saying that apparently the power's gone to his head, and he's kind of just like assigning these characters that look a tiny bit like the characters as being. But I want to think it's him, but I want to see like a proper interpretation of it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah,
and my dream is to see Hayden Christensen with Rex fighting live action in the Clone Wars. I don't know if we'll ever see that, or maybe we could see that in a game, maybe. But amazing character, and definitely one of my childhood favorites, and still one of my favorites today.
If we were going to top 15, I can guarantee you Rex would have been in my top on my list.
I'm sorry to all the OG Star Wars fans. I know Luke's a better character than Rex. He's just, for me, nostalgia-wise, amazing character.
Yeah. Well, my number 2 is a character that you've already spoken about. I've put Ahsoka as my number 2.
Yeah, I probably should have put her higher, actually. But
I adore Ahsoka. Can I reach it? Yeah, I've got a little model of her from that Disney Infinity game sitting here. I love
that. Is sick.
I love Ahsoka. Yeah. I'll admit, the first 2 seasons, like you said, I won't really say I found her super annoying. In the movie, she was incredibly annoying, I'll admit.
Oh, yeah.
The first 2 seasons, she was doing things where it's like, doesn't quite add up. But then season 3, they went ham on developing her character. Her character changed so much. Season 3 and 4, she really grew up. And then season 5, she is amazing. She has one of the best story arcs at the end of Series 5, The Clone Wars. The Series 7 finale with Ahsoka is incredible. And a lot of that is down to her character being so good in it. She's great in Rebels. And, she's great in her novel. She's great in everything I've seen her in. Mandalorian, Rosie Dawson plays her really well.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. Well. Ahsoka is, without a doubt, the best female Star Wars character. Don't at me, Rey fans. Yeah. She's so good. She's such a good character.
Yeah. It's obviously between her and Leia. Best female Star Wars character. But in my opinion, she's by far the best female Star Wars character.
Oh, without a doubt. She's had the most development, and she's the most interesting.
Yeah. I think even if Rey had a million books written about her, she doesn't have the potential to be as interesting as Ahsoka.
No. Ahsoka has this crazy backstory now, where she was at the council. She was the apprentice to the Jedi who become Darth Vader. It's like
It's just you can't get any better than that.
No. Well, I think our number 1 is going to be.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think if this wasn't your number 1, I'd be a bit surprised.
Yeah.
But it's the GOAT. It's mine is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
And I did predict when I was writing this list that yours would be Obi-Wan Kenobi too.
Yeah. Easy first pick.
Easy first pick. I mean, come on, he is just the GOAT. He's the absolute GOAT. I loved you. I actually prefer Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan.
Oh, so do I.
I do love his I do love him in A New Hope, but I love
Alec Guinness does
so much. Yeah, McGuinness, he did an amazing job. But I love him in the prequels, even in Attack of the Clones, where his dialogue was shocking at times.
Oh yeah,
I still loved Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan.
It's Ewan McGregor. He has a way of delivering all of those terrible bits of dialogue in a really good, charming way. Obi-Wan has always been this cocky Jedi, and he delivers every line flawlessly.
Yeah, he does. And yeah. I mean, I loved him in The Phantom Menace. I wasn't a huge fan in Attack of the Clones, but I still enjoyed his character. Revenge of the Sith, he is just incredible. I mean, the ending scenes with him on Mustafar with Anakin is some of the best Star Wars ever, and that is my genuine opinion. Even though there was some bad dialogue, I loved him. And when Anakin was burning and he was shouting like "You and my brother," it always gets me. Whenever I watch it, I love it. I also do love him, of course, in the Clone Wars. I mean, him and Anakin, their relationship is really fleshed out, and I think that was something that was needed.
You really get the brotherly love between them during the Clone Wars TV show, which is really
I think in the prequels that was missing a bit. We didn't really see that love and the friendship we wanted to see. Of course, Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor have talked about how they've got amazing chemistry, but we didn't really see loads of, I guess, romance that you see in the Clone Wars. They're little snide jokes with each other. You know, they're really cringy jokes that are meant to be cringy because they're really good mates. And I love it. I love Obi-Wan. I also really enjoyed him in Rebels, you know, that really brief episode. I thought that was incredible with him and Maul. And of course, I have to touch upon now his relationship with Darth Maul and how their relationship kind of turns into a friendship at the end.
Yeah.
I loved that. Absolutely loved it. He's just an amazing character. He's the absolute GOAT in Star Wars. And I cannot wait for the new Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I mean, I just can't wait for it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be honest, I don't have much to add there, to be honest, because I think you summed it up really well. But yeah, no, Obi-Wan is, he's just the coolest character in Star Wars, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he just really is. He's the guy. Yeah. He's the absolute guy. Yeah.
And again, can't wait for the spin-off show with him. Hopefully, well, we're getting Hayden Christensen, so hopefully Rosie Dawson might pop up for a scene and we'll get live action Clone Wars. We got Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka on screen live action for the first time.
Well, I wonder how will she look younger? I mean, because she'll be much younger than she was, of course, in The Mandalorian. So that'll be interesting. But they can do it. We know they can.
Yeah, I have faith in them, definitely. Yeah. But I think that sums up our top 10 lists of our favourite heroes. But guys, remember to go click on that link in the description to go to Blu View's channel, because we're going to do the villains over on his channel. We're going to record that right now. So make sure you go check that out as well. But I think that sums it up for this video. Thank you for coming onto the channel, Blu View.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button on both our channels. Leave a comment, like the video, and I'll see you all next time for another video, guys. Bye-bye.